Anger is like a sudden fire that erupts in the chest, intense, consuming, and often leading us to say or do things we later regret. The Buddha described anger as one of the three great poisons of the mind, alongside greed and ignorance, because it clouds our judgment, steals our peace, and harms both ourselves and those around us. Yet anger is not permanent. It is not who we are. It is only a passing state of mind, one that can be understood, transformed, and released. When we learn to let go of this fire, we discover true freedom, compassion, and an inner strength that no emotion can shake. Anger feeds on reaction. It urges us to speak harshly or act impulsively, pushing us into regret. But the moment we stop and take a single, mindful breath, the chain of anger begins to break. The Buddha often emphasized the power of breathing with awareness. Just one calm, steady breath is like cool water poured over a blazing fire. The next time you feel anger rising, pause. Inhale slowly. Exhale gently. And notice how even the strongest emotion softens when given space. A single breath may seem small, yet it carries immense strength. It creates a quiet space between stimulus and response, a space where wisdom can enter. Breathing doesn't erase the situation, but it gives us clarity to meet it differently. Each mindful breath is like adding water instead of fuel to the flames. Over time, this practice transforms moments of rage into opportunities for patience. No emotion lasts forever, not even anger. When we're caught in its heat, it feels endless, like a storm that will never pass. But every storm moves on, and so does every wave of emotion. The Buddha taught, all conditioned things are impermanent. Anger, too, arises because of certain causes and conditions. When those causes change, the anger naturally fades. By remembering this truth, we can stop feeding the fire and simply allow it to burn out on its own. Think of a stormy sky. At first, the clouds are dark and heavy, the winds fierce, but no storm lasts forever. Emotions are the same, strong for a while, always shifting. When we see this clearly, anger loses its power over us. It becomes just a passing visitor, not our identity, not our master. And knowing it will leave, we no longer need to obey it. The Buddha once compared anger to picking up a burning coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. Before it leaves your hand, it has already burned you. When we act in anger, we hurt ourselves first. We damage our own peace, our health, and our clarity of mind. Harsh words may wound others, but the bitterness lingers deepest in our own hearts. Think of moments when anger pushed you to speak too quickly. Perhaps those words brought a fleeting sense of satisfaction, but regret soon followed. This is the truth of cause and effect. What we plant, we harvest. When we plant anger, we reap conflict. When we plant patience, we harvest peace. By holding this truth close, anger loses its illusion of power. It doesn't protect us, it punishes us. And through this understanding, we begin to let it go. Anger often flares when we focus only on how we've been hurt. But Buddhism invites us to look deeper, to see the pain that may be driving another's actions. When someone speaks harshly or acts with cruelty, it is often because they are caught in their own suffering, confusion, or ignorance. By shifting our perspective, we replace anger with compassion. We recognize that they too are struggling, and responding with hatred only adds to the suffering in the world. Compassion softens the heart, and in that softness, anger begins to dissolve. It takes courage to meet anger with kindness, but that courage is transformative. The Buddha taught, hatred never ends through hatred. Hatred ends only through love. Seeing an angry person as a suffering person does not excuse their harmful behavior, but it frees us from being chained to bitterness. True compassion gives us the strength to respond with wisdom, rooted in love rather than hate. Much of our anger comes from pride. We feel insulted, disrespected, or overlooked, and the ego rushes to defend itself. But the Buddha taught that this self we guard so fiercely is not solid or permanent. It is like a shadow, appearing real yet without true substance. When we loosen our grip on ego, many reasons for anger simply vanish. What once provoked us loses its power, and insults no longer cut so deeply. The ego is like a fragile mask we spend our lives polishing and protecting. Every scratch feels like a wound. But when we see that this mask is not who we truly are, we stop being so easily hurt. Letting go of ego is not a loss. It is a return to our unshaken, authentic nature, a place where peace and freedom reside. When anger rises, it often demands an immediate reaction. Sharp words, raised voices, or harsh actions. But silence is a powerful practice. It creates space for clarity and prevents words that may wound deeply. The Buddha taught, if you cannot speak what is true and beneficial, choose noble silence. In silence, anger loses its fuel. In silence, we regain control over ourselves. And sometimes, silence itself is the most compassionate response we can give. There is great dignity in choosing silence. It is the strength to rise above the pull of impulse and the chaos of emotion. When others expect anger in return, silence disarms them. It gives us the time to see clearly and respond with wisdom rather than reaction. Often, silence is not weakness. It is the ultimate teaching, showing that peace is stronger than rage. Instead of seeing anger only as an enemy, we can treat it as a teacher. Every spark of anger reveals something hidden within us. Our wounds, expectations, attachments, or unmet needs. When we turn anger into inquiry, it loses its power to destroy and becomes a source of wisdom. The Buddha taught that patience is one of the greatest virtues. To sit with anger without acting on it is a strength far greater than force. Each flame of anger points to a deeper longing, perhaps a desire for fairness, respect, or love. By looking closely, we uncover the human heart behind the fire. Understanding turns anger from a destructive force into a messenger, lighting the way toward growth and compassion. Through reflection and patience, anger no longer burns us. Instead, it illuminates the path to wisdom. Anger is a fire, but it's a fire we don't have to feed. With mindfulness and practice, we can let it rise, see it clearly, and allow it to pass. To let go of anger is not weakness, it is true strength. The courage to choose peace over reaction, wisdom over impulse. By pausing and breathing, seeing its impermanence, reflecting on cause and effect, practicing compassion, releasing ego, embracing silence, and turning anger into understanding, we free ourselves from its grip. When we stop clinging to anger, we create space for love, peace, and clarity to grow. May you find that strength within your own heart, and may it bring you the freedom of a calm mind and a compassionate spirit. With wisdom and practice, we can allow it to pass. To let go of anger is not weakness, it is true strength. The strength to choose peace over reaction. May you find that strength in your own heart, and may it bring you freedom. If this reflection has brought you peace, I invite you to walk this path with me. Subscribe, and let us continue exploring the wisdom of the Buddha together.